What is up, boys? This is Flash back with some more charts and another video. It's Saturday, December 21, about 10:53 a.m. Eastern. Today we're going to look at Bitcoin and then we're going to look at MicroStrategy, and we're going to use the MicroStrategy measured in Bitcoin ratio to try to identify some sort of price target for what I'm thinking is going to be a Bitcoin top at some point in early to mid 2025. So for those of you that don't know or haven't been following, this is the Bitcoin rainbow wave indicator. And if you just go to indicators and type in Bitcoin rainbow wave, Leom is the guy or the person that created this indicator. And so this takes into consideration, I think, a lot of data around Bitcoin is really a digital network. We talk about the power law. Like, this is just an asset that is finding its way and growing over time. This is a logarithmic chart. So if we go on regular scale, like, this is going to look nuts. But that being said, we are at the point in the Bitcoin cycle where this thing just goes straight up and to the right, to the moon, right? So let's just follow this along here. This thing has been dead on pretty much for the duration of Bitcoin's life. And so we're going to find our way, I think, in this red box, somewhere between mid-February 25 to mid-May 25, okay? And that's a price target between 175,000 and 250,000 per Bitcoin. So that's why I'm really not too concerned about the day-to-day fluctuations of Bitcoin's price, because we are, if this indicator holds true, then we should be buying every single dip. Not financial advice, do your own research. This is my research. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at. I'm also looking at BTCL, which is the T-Rex 2x long daily Bitcoin ETF. Another way you could play this. So that being said, if Bitcoin's going to be, let's just say 200,000 is kind of a round number for this exercise. So let's go over to MicroStrategy. Here's the MicroStrategy chart. We're on the daily. And we'll just overlay BTC USD in the background. We'll put that on the log. Shrink it down a little bit. So as you can see, like, these two move together. Sure, there's been a little bit of a divergence very, very recently, but all in all, these assets move together. Reason being, MicroStrategy acquires Bitcoin, right? And they have a strategy. Okay, so with that in mind, and Bitcoin, we think, is going to continue to go up to 200K. We'll take Bitcoin off the chart. Now let's go to MicroStrategy measured in Bitcoin. Okay, so now we see MicroStrategy has been outperforming Bitcoin, since 2023 for the most part, right? Up and down, up and down, up and to the right. Also have some channels on here and some more data. All right, so this is interesting, right? So there's somewhat of some parallel channels in here. Whether these hold true in the future, I'm not sure. Whether this fractal that I've copy and pasted holds true, I'm not sure. But this at least can kind of tell us, okay, so mid-February 2025, we'll put this in the middle of the channel. We'll put a little price post there, and then mid-May 2025, middle of the channel, we'll put another one right here. Okay, so, and we could drag this down, but I like putting it in maybe we'll put it on the line. And we'll put this on like the top of the line. Got the calculator up. All right, so let's say Bitcoin is 200K, right? 200K times 0.0041. Okay, that's 820. So let's just put a text box here. All right, we'll do the same thing, 0.0066. $13.20. Okay, that's interesting, right? So let's go back to the MicroStrategy chart. We're looking at 820 and 1320. Excuse all these lines I have on this chart, but a little bit of a hobby of mine. Okay, so let's find the pin call out, price note, price label. All right, let's go to 1820 or 820, sorry. And that's mid-May. I mean mid-February, sorry. Oh, we're gonna have to hide all this. All right, it was 820 and 1320, right? And that was end of May or mid-May. I mean, so that you're pretty much following this trend line right here. And just for the sake of conversation, you're pretty much staying in this thing if this holds true, right? If Bitcoin goes to 200K, if MSTR measured in Bitcoin, stays relatively where it is. I think these are kind of conservative estimates. We could throw on, some fibs here from the top here to the bottom of this correction. So the 3.618, that's about 1250. I think that would make sense. Maybe we just go to the 2.618 of this consolidation. We go to the 822 level. So I think that's a decent way to measure price targets. And what else do I want to do today? I mean, we can pull up this indicator too. This is the distance percentage from the moving average. So we're on the daily. And this thing, in history, this can get up to, 100% above the moving average, maybe 75%, right? That's what the most recent high did, 80, 85%. So we can throw a horizontal on here and say, okay, maybe it's going to get 80% above its moving average again. So let's get that moving average on the chart and we'll measure 80%, assuming that the moving average continues to maybe follow up this line, right? So we'll measure 85%. We'll just pick a date here, 85%. Yeah, so that brings us to that 1200 number. So we would want the chart to maybe, do something like this. Kind of a fun exercise to do, but I think, 820, 1300, that's kind of the sweet spot we want to be looking for the next, maybe it's a top, maybe it's another consolidation. But if we look at the Bitcoin chart, this tells us that if the 4-year cycle continues to play out, you know, we may want to secure some profits up here in this red box, and then we'll see, right? We'll kind of got to call it as we see it. But I think like this is all baked in. Like this is a growing network. The price is more or less, you know, determined by this rainbow wave. So I'm going to follow this. I'll keep posting about it. Drop me a like if you guys found this helpful. I'll see you in the next one.